Spoilers ahead. Hello, welcome back to I Am Movies. The movie begins in Libya, a seemingly secure place with a heavily guarded chemical plant. The general in charge is happily spending time with his family. However, an aircraft drops missiles, allowing terrorists to infiltrate the plant. Among them is a terrorist named Suarto, who captures a soldier and demands to know the location of the general, reluctantly reveals the information, and Suarto kills him. Meanwhile, Barney sets off on his motorcycle to meet his friend Lee. Outside Lee's house, he overhears Lee and his CIA girlfriend Gina having a heated argument. When Lee and Barney meet, Gina continues to argue and becomes furious. Despite their efforts to calm her down, Gina accuses Lee of prioritizing work over her. Barney then reveals that he lost his ring in a bar and suggests they retrieve it. Gina, already upset, slams the door. Barney and Lee head to the bar, where they ask about the ring. It turns out that the ring has been placed on a dildo, and the bar's patrons demand a fight to get it back. Barney gives Lee his knuckles, and Lee approaches the patrons, explaining the situation. The patrons insist that Lee must fight them for the ring. Barney claims to have a sore back and stays out of the fight. Lee defeats the patrons on his own, but a big guy grabs him. Barney shoots the big guy's hand, saving Lee. When the big guy approaches Barney, he throws him aside, telling the bartender to give the big guy a beer once he wakes up, and the bartender gives Barney's ring back. Meanwhile, Suarto's men continue their killing spree, eliminating anyone who crosses their path. Suarto makes his way to a specific room in the building, killing all the guards and facing the general. After that, in a CIA base, we see Toll and Gunner from the old Expendables team. Lee and Barney arrive at the base, and Barney introduces Lee to the new member, Galen, the son of Galgo and Easy Day. Everyone is eager and ready for the urgent mission ahead. Marsh, a CIA agent, arrives and briefs them on the mission. They must stop a terrorist named Suarto from stealing chemical weapons from the Falal chemical plant. The Expendables team boards a plane and reaches Libya in just 3 hours. However, Suarto's men launch an attack on their plane. Barney skillfully lands the plane, and Lee and the guys swiftly drive away in their battle car. Barney takes off again with the plane to avoid detection by Suarto's men. Meanwhile, Suarto manages to secure some bombs from the chemical plant. As he exits, Gunner takes a shot at him but misses. This tense situation repeats a few times until Suarto gets into a car and drives away. Lee opens fire on the fleeing vehicle while Galen is driving, both determined to stop Suarto. Gunner, watching from a distance, manages to blow up the car. Lee and Galen continue their pursuit, with Suarto launching a counterattack on their car. On the other side, the Expendables plane is targeted by a missile, causing it to spiral out of control. Suarto, from a vantage point, manages to shoot down one of the plane's engines, resulting in a catastrophic explosion that engulfs the entire aircraft. Lee rushes to the crash site but arrives too late. He finds Barney's lifeless and charred body amid the wreckage. The entire team is heartbroken by the loss of their leader and friend. The following day, they gather at a bar to mourn Barney's passing. At the bar, they place Barney's burnt hand as a somber tribute. Each member of the Expendables pays their respects to Barney's memory. Lee, in particular, is deeply affected by Barney's death, struggling to come to terms with the loss. Gina approaches Lee and offers her condolences, sharing in his grief. Marsh, Gina's boss, arrives at the bar and informs the team that they must carry out Barney's mission. He emphasizes that what has happened cannot be changed, and they are now responsible for completing the task without Lee, as he is off from the mission. Lee is surprised by the decision and walks away. However, the rest of the team is willing to step up and take revenge for their fallen leader. After some time, Lee finds himself in need of money and takes on a job as a bodyguard for an influencer. One day, the influencer insults Lee and tells him to stay away from a party filled with attractive women. Lee stands his ground, reminding the influencer that his primary job is to ensure security. When the influencer spots Lee at the party again, he becomes furious. Lee, no longer willing to tolerate the influencer's attitude, confronts him, and a physical altercation ensues. Lee realizes that this line of work is not suitable for him, leading him to reflect on his next steps. As Lee continues to reflect on his life and the memory of Barney, he stumbles upon Barney's ring one day, a powerful reminder of his former leader and friend. Driven by a desire to make amends and honor Barney's legacy, Lee decides to visit Gina's house. There, he discovers a photo of himself with Gina, sparking memories of their shared past. While at Gina's place, Lee obtains valuable information about Suarto from her confidential files. Soon, Gina arrives at her home, and Lee expresses his intention to rejoin the mission. However, Gina is hesitant to let him back in so easily. She challenges him to prove himself, leading to a fight between them. After the fight, Gina and Lee start kissing each other, and with the kiss both become intimate. The following day, as Gina prepares to embark on a mission, Lee gives her a knife to assist in tracking their location. Gina departs, and once she's gone, Lee uses the knife to trace the Expendables' whereabouts on a phone. He discovers that they are headed to Thailand. On the aircraft to Thailand, we see the new member of the Expendables named Lash. Meanwhile, in Thailand, Lee follows a trail of Expendables markers to the seashore, where he encounters a young boy named Deicha. Curious about the Expendables' activities, Lee inquires about their whereabouts. However, Deicha informs him that he no longer works with the Expendables. Lee requests permission to use Deicha's boat, but Deicha initially refuses. Their disagreement escalates into a physical confrontation. During the scuffle, Deicha notices Lee's ring, and Lee shares the devastating news that Barney is no longer alive. Deicha is deeply saddened by this revelation and reveals that Barney was also his friend. Touched by their shared loss, Deicha agrees to assist Lee in his quest for revenge. Meanwhile, back with the Expendables, Marsh briefs the team on Suarto's movements. Suarto and his group are heading toward Russia on a ship that's loaded with bombs, capable of causing massive explosions. Their mission is to capture all these explosives to prevent a potential catastrophe. To their surprise, Eva joins the Expendables, and they are informed that Marsh will also be accompanying them on this mission. With the team reunited and reinforced, they prepare to face the impending danger posed by Suarto and his arsenal of explosives. With the Expendables ready for action, Gina checks in with them to ensure they are prepared. The team confirms their readiness, and they board an aircraft. Under the cover of darkness, they land the aircraft on Suarto's ship, but Suarto's henchmen know they're arriving and set up a trap, who quickly apprehend them, confiscating all their weapons. Confused about what to do with the captured Expendables, Suarto's men separate Marsh from the group and take him to Suarto's locations on the ship. Meanwhile, Deicha escorts Lee close to the ship, where Lee stealthily makes his way inside. As Lee sneaks further into the ship, he encounters a man who spots him. In self-defense, Lee eliminates the man. During a video call, Suarto reveals his sinister plan to Marsh. He intends to launch a nuclear bomb aimed at Russia and frame it on the United States. Suarto informs Eva about his plan and offers her a grim choice. To prevent this devastating attack, she must release a terrorist named Aziz. Meanwhile, on the ship, Lee watches as Suarto's men hoist the American flag as part of their ruse to mislead Russian satellites that surveil the sea. Lee uses his knife to trace his way inside the ship, and with remarkable cunning, he eliminates each thug he encounters. As he dispatches these adversaries, Lee reclaims his knife, adding to his arsenal of weapons. He confronts one of Suarto's henchmen and attempts to extract information about the Expendables. However, the man remains steadfast in his silence. Lee continues his relentless pursuit, leading to a group of Suarto's men who start trailing him. In a moment of quick thinking, Lee commandeers a nearby motorcycle and opens fire on his pursuers. Just when it appears he may be overwhelmed, Deicha arrives on the scene, offering his support. Together, Lee and Deicha mount a fierce counterattack, swiftly dispatching the remaining henchmen. The Expendables manage to find an escape route through a tunnel, but their path is blocked by armed henchmen. Just as it seems they are cornered, Lee and Deicha step in, rescuing the Expendables by swiftly taking out the armed goons. With renewed determination, the Expendables proceed together toward the location of the bomb that is set to detonate in the next 30 minutes. They realize that there's no way to defuse the bomb, leaving them with only one option: to sink the ship. However, before they can accomplish this task, they must eliminate Suarto. As they plan their next move, a song begins to play on a nearby radio. The sound attracts Suarto's goons, who open fire on the radio, unknowingly triggering a massive explosion. After the massive explosion, the Expendables press on, determined to reach the control room. They engage in a fierce firefight, eliminating all of Suarto's goons who stand in their way. However, amidst the chaos, Toll is knifed and sustains an injury. The team rallies to provide medical assistance and protect their wounded comrade. Deicha and Lash forge ahead, dispatching Suarto's right-hand men. As Lee makes his way towards Suarto, he eliminates the guards surrounding Suarto and approaches him. Lee and Suarto engage in an intense and protracted hand-to-hand combat. Just as it seems that Lee is about to defeat Suarto, he drops a bombshell revelation. Suarto confesses that he works for Marsh, the very person who had sent the Expendables on this mission. Following the prisoner exchange, Marsh ruthlessly eliminates Aziz. Fearing that Aziz has uncovered his true intentions and posed a threat to his plans. With Aziz disposed of, Marsh prepares to make his escape by plane. However, Lee takes decisive action. He launches a missile, causing a catastrophic explosion that engulfs the aircraft. In response to Marsh's orders, his remaining henchmen are instructed to eliminate the Expendables. Recognizing the imminent threat, Lee devises a daring plan to save his comrades. He quickly ropes all the Expendables onto Deicha's ship using a back route, ensuring their safety. Once everyone is in Deicha's boat, Lee throws the rope and says he needs to turn the ship around so it doesn't go to Russian territory, and make sure his sacrifice counts. He then goes back to finish off Marsh's men. In the control room, Lee attempts to sink the ship into the sea, but he is ambushed by Suarto's remaining goons. Lee fights valiantly, taking down each adversary, but his gun runs out of bullets. Just as he appears to be overwhelmed, an explosion rocks the ship, drawing Lee out of the control room. To his astonishment, Lee finds himself face to face with Marsh, who is armed and ready to kill him. However, before Marsh can pull the trigger, an aircraft swoops down and aims Marsh. A shot rings out, and Marsh is shot down to pieces. Lee is in disbelief as he watches Barney emerge from the aircraft, revealing that Barney's death had been staged as part of a carefully crafted plan. They missile down the whole ship for it to sink and let the bomb explode under the ocean. With Marsh eliminated, the Expendables emerge victorious. The Expendables coming together once more, ready for their next adventure, and the secrets of their covert operation remain intact. They celebrate their successful mission and the reunion with Barney. After Lee insists, he explains that Barney had used a look-alike to fake his death, allowing him to continue working undercover. The movie ends. Thank you for supporting my small channel. Please like and share this video to help this channel out. Thanks for watching and see you at the next one.